You know what that sound is, baby.
Yeah, you had a little too much of that last night, didn't you?
Little hair of the dog now.
For us, not for you.
You need to get the coffee brewing. Pop a couple aspirin. Get the eggs and bacon frying. It is your hangover cure with your Uncle Dave and your Uncle Kev.
That's right, it's Saturday morning, June the 29th, and it is time for us to ease your pain. As you look back to last night, too much booze, not enough action with the ladies, or the men if you go that way.
Or if you're one of our female listeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, rock and roll, movies, TV, streaming, dumbasses, we've got it all for you here on your, as your Uncle Dave said, Saturday morning hangover cure. It is the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0.
And your politically incorrect pop culture commentary.
We have to stress that. Because I feel like the first couple years we weren't stressing the fact, we weren't giving people, it's like a warning label.
Right.
We needed to put a warning label on this podcast to tell everybody, you might not like a lot of the shit we say. You might not like the language we use when we say that shit, but you're going to have to deal with it because we speak off the cuff. We speak the truth from our heart, from our mind, from our groin, wherever it might be.
This is our stress relief. We let all the pent-up energy and aggression from the week before come out, and we don't give a fuck how we do it.
And we just hope it entertains you. Because it entertains us. Otherwise, why would we have been doing this the past 3 years?
Exactly.
Actually, technically the past 30 years in our long, illustrious history. But that's a story for another time. What do we always start off with, Dave?
Music, because we are all about rock and roll, baby.
We got a couple songs for you this week. We're going to be in a little bit of a lull in terms of concerts and albums for just a couple weeks. And then we'll get it all sorted out. And then it'll be nonstop concerts.
The concerts are wrapping up real quick.
Yep.
As we record this on Wednesday night, the 26th, this will drop Saturday, the 29th of June, 2024. We just added another concert tonight.
Yeah, I think this year is going to set a record. I think this year is going to set a record.
Quietly.
For most shows. Because we've already seen 3. And I think we have now 12 or 13 left.
It's going to be really close.
Yep. Because
it's going
now
to be very close.
We are going to rock devote. Only 5 shows in the Midwest, all in college towns, and somehow Kalamazoo, Michigan qualifies as a college town, along with College Station, of course, Penn State, and Columbus, Ohio, which, of course, is Ohio State. But bucket list band, we have never seen them. We love them. Tenacious D. Finally get to see Jack Black and Kyle Gass in person. So hopefully they'll minimize the bullshit and maximize the rude and crude fun.
That's right. God, we can only hope for a great show.
All right, so the 2 songs we've got this week. First up, let's start off with the legendary Hall of Fame Rockers. I can't believe I'm calling them that because they were one of those bands that I grew up with. Def Leppard, brand new song with Tom Morello, who seems to be guesting on every other freaking song that comes out here lately.
It seems that way, doesn't it? Good grief.
As long as he's not in Rage Against the Machine, I'm okay with him.
Oh, yeah. Outside of Rage, he's fine.
Yep. So this is Just Like 73. I think I cannot give this high marks, but it is very catchy.
It is. And it had a riff that I know I've heard it before. The Hey song, Gary Glitter. The whole da-da-da-da was in there.
Yeah, and they don't. I don't think they're really shying away from kind of parading that around, especially at the very end when they go, "Hey,"
Yeah.
to close out the song. I think this is just a fun homage to them growing up.
Yeah, the stuff that they enjoyed, what influenced them.
Yeah,
And this was a fun little decent rocker.
if you listen to the lyrics, you'll notice there are some references in there to some old school rock and roll. Some
Yeah.
Bowie jumps into my head.
Yep. I
Um,
want to rock with you like 72.
yep, you want to rock with me
Me
like
like it's 73.
73. Yep. Um, a simple turn of the phrase in the chorus, but very catchy the
Yeah.
way they do it. And Tom Morello's guitar solo, very fitting.
Yeah, it blends so well with it.
It,
Yeah.
it's
It's
perfect because you can tell it's him, but it still fits in a Def Leppard song.
yeah. And while we can't give it high, it's worth listening to. It's going to be one of those that'll probably get some play.
Yeah, it's just I hate to judge a band based on their past high notes, high moments, but this isn't anything from High and Dry or Pyromania. It's
No,
not classic old school Def Leppard. This is kind of what you expect from them now, what you're going to get from them now, which isn't bad, especially compared to
a
most.
lot of the crap that we've listened
Yeah.
to of late.
I'm going to give it a week 3 frenzies.
Yep, I was borderline strong 2.5 week 3.
Yeah.
So we're in the same.
Yeah, it's a
same
recommendation.
realm.
It's fun, but you're not getting Photograph or Coming Under Fire or Billy's Got a Gun or
No.
anything like that.
No stage fright.
Yeah. So it's good. It's there. I'll listen to it again at some point, but we'll see. I don't know if this is going to lead into an album or if this is just a one-off.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
The reaction from the fans and streaming play may determine where they're going to go.
Yeah, because all we talk about, all we hear over and over, year after year from these rock and roll artists is it's not worth it to make new music because they're not making any money off of it.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and I've seen the math, I've seen the accounting behind the scenes, and I agree with them to a point, but I still think if you're a creator, you create. You're supposed to be creating. It doesn't matter what you're getting in terms of money.
Right. You're supposed to be doing this for the love of music.
What's the old cliche, starving artist?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
I mean, my God, how long did you guys live in a small 1-bedroom apartment together, struggling to eat while you were crafting who you became?
yeah. So think about that, and remember that
You're living off the royalties of the big stuff. You can afford to give the fans some new music.
And Def Leppard's usually been pretty good about
They
that.
have been.
They have not been the type of band that falls off the face of the earth for 7 or 8 years and then says, "Oh, I guess we'll put out a new album." Whether it's good, whether it's bad, like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Their last album was great. But how long had it been since we gotten new stuff from them?
Forever.
Well over a decade.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about one of our house bands. One of our Sports Frenzy house bands. Last week, we talked about The Offspring.
This week we have the Black Moods and their newest single, Sugar.
I'm still not happy with the new direction they're going in.
No.
After Heaven and now this is better than Heaven.
This is better, but
I don't know how
going
much though.
too poppy-ish.
Well, and it's overproduced. It's
that's
so overproduced. All the bells and whistles.
Like we've talked about everything else coming out. Things are being overproduced. That was the downfall of Greta Van Fleet. Their first album was raw and edgy, and then they got overproduced and
That might not
wussified.
be a bad comparison here to Greta Van Fleet. Now, not in terms of different styles,
Yeah,
but
but just the fact that the overproduction, the popifying, panzifying of the band.
yeah, trying to, somebody got in their ear. Somebody told them, you need to take this in a different direction. Now, in Greta Van Fleet's case, I don't understand it because they were popular, wildly popular with what they were doing.
Yeah.
Black Moods, I don't know if somebody told them you're not selling as much as you should be. You're
Try
getting
this.
Yeah, you're getting on in your career arc. You need to make a big, bold statement now. And I think it's the wrong big, bold statement.
Yes, absolutely.
Because this was a tight, rockin' three-piece, and now you got all the overdubs and you get keyboard touches and things that aren't the Black Moods. It's not the Black Moods.
No, it is not.
So once again, just like with Heaven, I am disappointed. I will give this one a 2 frenzy rating. I can't go any higher. It kills me. I cannot recommend the Black Moods to you guys, the new stuff. Go back and listen to any of their older albums. Yeah. Any of them. And you'll find out why we're so disappointed in these 2 songs, I'm assuming, coming from an album eventually. This is what they did with their last album, is that they stretched it out over a year with the singles,
which was ridiculous,
before they actually put the album out. But just really depressing. Yep. Really, really depressing.
Yeah, well, as they go down losing house band status, at least we have the rising house band status of the rival Sons. And at least we've got them headlining finally coming up later this year.
Yeah, and when we call a band a house band, it either means we used one of their songs for a theme during our years on cable access,
or YouTube, or somewhere,
or it's a band that we've discovered that we think most of you need to be exposed to.
Yeah, we were introduced to Rival Sons opening for the disappointing Greta Van Fleet show.
Yep. And we came in clean. We did not know anything from Rival Sons.
No.
You might have. I think you mentioned you might have heard something on The Bear, or
I
local
heard one
radio
song.
channel.
I didn't know I hadn't heard the name, but I had heard the song on the radio prior to seeing them in concert. So I recognized that.
Yep.
But yeah, the Black Moods, we thought, and on the ground floor when they opened for Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers many years ago.
Who we're going to see here coming up in October.
Yep. So.
Next week we have a couple new songs from Mr. Big.
Double shot.
I have been going back and forth on this, whether I wanted to really bring this up and enter this into our fold in terms of upcoming picks. But I've listened to these 2 songs. They've got their last studio album. I'm assuming it's their last album, their 10th album, called 10, since they're on their farewell tour.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll continue to record. I doubt it.
Probably not.
But they've got 2 new songs out. The album comes out in a couple weeks, so we're going to review next week Up On You and Good Luck Trying. And then we will also, this is kind of a hybrid music streaming movie thing, just hit Netflix today as we tape, on June the 26th, Nickelback. Their documentary that came out a few months ago, Hate to Love. Lots of...
appropriately titled.
Yep, lots of music documentaries coming out. Lots of them. And by the way, that leads me into a bonus review.
Ooh, what you got?
I finally finished up the 5-hour marathon Bon Jovi thank you, good night.
The
And
ego,
yes,
ego trip.
pretty much. Now, Dave couldn't watch it, and I don't think he would want to watch it, and I would never suggest he subject himself to this, especially, again, 5 hours. I did the math. It's 5 hours, kids.
Oof.
Thank you, good night is, like Dave alluded to, pretty much an ego trip to stroke Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi's massive ego.
So he's stroking himself.
Yeah, along with a couple of his bandmates who seem a little too enthusiastic in kissing his ass. Which, I'm sorry. I don't necessarily want dirt and scandal nonstop either.
But we all know it wasn't
There's something in
sunshine
the
and
middle.
roses.
There's got to be something in the middle where you can disclose some of the sordid tales of the road.
Yeah, that we were ready to string him up by his toenails for being a slave driver on the road.
Yeah. And he tries to make himself look like this tortured creative soul, nonstop driven. And yes, he's done some great things. He has, for a better word, soup kitchens, which he calls soul kitchens,
Yeah.
to help feed the homeless. And I get that. But they talk about his politics towards the end, which I'm just like,
nah.
I would like to point something out to everybody out there. And I don't care what you think, because again, that's the rule here. Any rock and roll star who supported Al Gore and his bitch wife, Tipper Gore, who tried to outlaw or label hard rock music, you're a fucking hypocrite.
Amen.
And Bon Jovi up there on stage with those two, supporting them in 1980, I was like, okay, I'm done with you.
Yep.
Let's ask
Bye-bye.
Rob Halford
Bye-bye.
and Dee Snider how they feel about him up there campaigning with Tipper Gore
After
from the PMRC bullshit
that she pulled.
And then, of course, the second half of all this, we get his wife involved, and we've got to, hear from her and how wonderful her husband is, even though there is one allusion to him being unfaithful on the road.
Just one.
It's a very vague, oh yeah, there's hundreds of girls on the road all the time, kind of thing. But yeah, this sugarcoats John Bon Jovi to the point where you go, Jesus Christ, when do we get to see the negative? When do we get to see, like you said, was he a slave driver? Who did he treat like crap? Who did he stab in the back? We get none of that. This is just like the wonderful golden portrait of John Bon Jovi as the be-all end-all, hardest working man in rock and roll. Friends to Bruce Springsteen.
Well, that's the problem right there.
Friends to Barack Obama and Joe Biden.
And
everybody loves
blah,
him.
blah.
His bandmates can't get enough of him. He's just
I want
so
my
wonderful.
fucking refund for the Indianapolis show.
Yeah. Yep. And we talked about that early on when I first started this, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Early on, and they talk, because they jump back and forth in time. They jump to the past, and then they jump to the present, and the 2022 tour, where, of course, we got fucked.
Yeah. Duh.
Where he admits his voice was shot, but he still went out on a handful of dates and stole the fans' money, even though he won't admit it. I still gave 105%. No,
you didn't, dumbass.
You can give 105%, but it doesn't mean shit if your voice is shot.
Yeah, 105% of 75% is still useless.
And then the one more thing I want to bring up is, of course, the Richie Sambora thing, where I don't think they were very fair to him. They give him a decent amount of time to talk about his input to the band, what he did for the band. And he really does sound like he's three sheets to the wind throughout most of the interview.
Probably
So,
was to have to deal with it and have to paint the kumbaya moments.
and then I guess they bring him back. They recorded part of the interview maybe in early 2023, and they brought him back later in 2023, and he looks like a fucking drag queen. And
Dude.
that's not helping matters. And I wonder how much of this was manipulated to make him look bad
Oh, I'm sure a lot of it
compared to the
was.
old, grizzled, wizened John Bon Jovi with his gray hair, aging. I don't care about dyeing my hair and looking like a rock star.
No, I can see Bon Jovi being vindictive and working it so Sambora looked like a
He
piece of
wants he
garbage.
wants to be surrounded by yes men.
Yeah.
He does. And it's pretty obvious in this documentary because it's all about him. And I still think 5 hours of
Way
Bon
too
Jovi
much.
against 2 hours of what we recently got with the Beach Boys is pathetic. And last time I'll say it, where's the scandal? Don't tell me everything outside of Richie having to leave because of his substance abuse. Give me more of the travails, the problems, the issues you had amongst the band members. You get none of that. So this is a very shallow, very hollow
If you want to
5
get a
hours of
little
my
bit
life I'll
more
never get
into
back.
that, do Breaking the Band on Bon Jovi that Dee Snider hosts. You'll get into some of that stuff and the issues they had on the road.
Yeah, this is so, again, what would you expect from Disney?
Yeah.
Since this is on Hulu right now.
Produced, directed, and written by John Bon Jovi.
So I will give it a week, 2 frenzies. And one last thing. You want to talk about a hypocrite? He is such a fucking hypocrite. What have we been talking about for the last 4 or 5 years in terms of who would come to play at Notre Dame if they ever have another big concert at the football stadium?
Oh yeah, we thought maybe, well, since his kid went there, he would probably.
Yeah, he wears Notre Dame shirt at one point. He's got University of Miami gear on through most of the last third of this. He's got a U of M hat, he's got a U sticker on the back of his laptop he works with. You couldn't pick. Believe me, I know. You couldn't pick 2 more polar opposite teams, and he's trying to play both sides. I admit, I'm a U guy, 100%. Fuck Notre Dame. I don't care if I went there. I don't care. I am with the Hurricanes. But he's trying to play both sides.
Because that's who he is.
I wouldn't trust him for nothing. I wouldn't trust him for nothing. And the fact that he has duped his wife, his bandmates, it seems like, into just being blind zombie sycophants for him is amazing to me. And you and I know, in terms of them being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they're way down at the bottom in terms of bands that should be and deserve to be in there, even though he thinks
they should
they're
be
one
the
of the
next
greatest.
one in. Yeah, no.
He thinks they're one of the greatest bands in there.
Yeah, nope. Sorry, dude.
All right. Now it's time to move on. Let's talk a little bit about The Boys and TV and streaming. How about that?
Yes, let's.
Now, you were 2 behind last week,
One.
but now you've caught up?
Yes, we are through 4.
Okay.
We are on the
Well,
same
that's what I meant.
page.
You had to watch 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ugh.
Not bad. Still very good. Interested to see where this is going to go.
There's a lot going on in this season. And all I will say is Anthony Starr deserves to win a fucking Emmy for his portrayal as Homelander.
He is awesome. He is absolutely awesome.
I mean, he is
because in
fucking amazing.
episode 4, they get into more of his origin story and what he had to go through as Vought, let's say, experimented on him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And I will admit, being naive, for a brief instant, I thought maybe he would be a little bit softer and a little bit lighter. I did not realize this was going to be a Revenge Trip 101.
Yeah,
with a Fudgy the Whale cake.
Come on, get the plates and some forks. Dig in. And then
it's going to melt.
And then
and then something does melt.
Wow. Woo.
But we're already halfway through. Can you believe it? Already halfway through
I know,
season
it's
4.
sad.
In these short, ridiculously short seasons we're subjected to now.
Yeah, but God, it is so good, and it is shaping up to really be a knockdown, drag out. What the hell is gonna happen?
And then Huey's mom throws a little curveball in there at the end.
Yeah. That was a little surprising.
Yep.
But what's her angle now?
Yeah. I don't trust her at all.
No. And
I don't think Huey does either.
No, he doesn't.
And he'll figure out pretty quick what she did.
Yeah.
I would imagine. He's not
dumb.
He's not that naive.
No. And then the whole A-Train run. And then the floater.
Yep. So we will, of course, keep you updated next week. We'll talk about episode 5.
It's still so wrong, but so good.
And we love our rumors. We love our rumors, Dave.
We do. Rumors are good.
Of course, we know that this show is pretty much run by Eric Kripke, who ran Supernatural, and we have had our Jensen Ackles appearance as Soldier Boy.
We've got Bobby Singer back in.
Jared Padalecki has said, I would 100% be in.
I want in.
He wants in on the final season 5. He says he wants in. Now that Walker is done on the CW, he says, I'm in. Let's do it. Get me in.
It's my turn.
Whether Jensen you can work Soldier Boy back in or not, get me in on season 5.
Yeah.
So that would be cool.
That's fun. And Kripke is great.
All right, so I am also watching Outer Range. I have started to dive more fully into season 2, so I'm now through the first 3 episodes of season 2 on that. It is still bizarre and weird and wild, but it keeps your interest because you want to know. Obviously, it's a great story, well written. You don't want to miss anything. You want to know what's happening next with all the time travel and crossing of the streams, let's say. And I will say this, though, keeping in spirit with how much of a jackass I am. The main female stars, why are men fighting over Lily Taylor? Is what I don't get. She is one of the most unattractive women in terms of actresses out there.
I have not been a fan of hers in any movie she's ever been
in. I know. She's
not a good actress.
And she's
just
a little too, I don't want to say masculine, but she's just a little too rough for me. In looks and demeanor.
Yeah. Yeah, just something about her that I've never liked, going all the way back.
Yeah. And then the younger actress, again, men fighting over her, is this...
The Drifter.
Imogen Poots is the actress's name. I don't know
Wouldn't
how
you
you
have
come up.
changed your last name?
Imogen Poots. And yeah, and I'm watching this, and he's obviously into season 2. They're still fighting over her, and she's got a big hairy mole on her lip, and I'm just, what are you guys doing? Fighting over this woman? Is that how desperate you are out here in the cattle lands? It's either the cattle or this? I guess if it was the cattle or this, I'd take this, but come on. Now, there are some better looking women in minor roles, but wow, and then you've got the lesbian sheriff, so we can all guess how she looks. She might actually be the better looking of the 3. But the story is still very intriguing, but it keeps you guessing. You just have no idea where this is going to end up.
And it's one of those, is it one where can they take it beyond 2 or 3 seasons?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know where season 2 is going to end up. Probably next week I'll have, hopefully, if not that, the week after, the full season review for you. I'll get through all 8 episodes. And then I'll let you know the answer to that question. If it's open-ended, if it's got closure, because I have not heard anything in terms of Amazon renewing it for season 3 yet. So I don't know. All right, Dave, let's do some headlines. I know how much you love headlines. All right. I know you have not gotten into it, and I know you've tried. One of the few people in America who have not, but is now official on 2 fronts. Yellowstone is coming back for the last part of season 5, the final season, coming back on November the 10th on the Paramount Network.
I'll get to it eventually.
And no, Kevin Costner will not be back.
No, he's still working on his epic.
And that it's opened right now as you're listening to this. Just opened Friday, of course, June the 28th. Lot of personal reputation, a lot of personal finances riding on this.
Yes.
As this is supposed to stretch out to a 4-part epic. The first 2 parts are already done. We're getting 1 here in late June, I believe. August is when we get part 2.
Yeah.
We'll see. Oof. We'll see. I believe he put up $100 million of his own money for the first 2 parts.
It's a ballsy risk.
That's a big, big, big freaking gamble.
But what's he going to do? Take it with him?
Well, I'm sure that's what he's thinking too. As long as I've got, what I would say is, as long as I know I've got a bed to sleep in. As long as I know my kids are going to be all right. I got a bed to sleep in, a pot to piss in. What do I care?
Yeah. This is something he's wanted to do, then fuck it. Full steam ahead.
Yep. And then, of course, good news for those of us who like Nobody. We finally have confirmation. It is a go, and Bob Odenkirk has inked a deal to return for Nobody 2.
It's supposed to begin filming late summer, early fall this year.
Yeah, because Lucky Hank didn't get renewed, so
yep.
What the hell's he doing? And we like to always keep up with the streaming services. And I'm telling you, there's trouble a-brewing. There is something going on. I think Prime is safe. I think Netflix is safe. Peacock, maybe, depending on what happens down the road with the WWE. But I'm telling you, we got problems with Paramount Plus, and we got problems with Max.
Yeah, Max is...
Paramount Plus just had to up the price of their basic plan, $2. So now Paramount Plus is up to $8 a month, $13 if you get it with Showtime. It's not worth it. Now, of course, for us, here's the bad part of this. They just announced Tulsa King is coming back September the 15th.
And of course, they're going to run season 1 on CBS.
Right. So do you wait? But it's
Yeah,
going to be
but it's going to be
edited.
so edited and it's going to lose so much.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if they announce the next season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, so at least I can justify watching both of those
Yeah.
and paying the money for that. And I don't think they ever said if they renewed Joe Pickett or not. I don't know if we're ever getting season 3 of Joe Pickett.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Then we move on to Max. And this Warner Brothers Discovery is run by, I swear, a bunch of retarded monkeys. Between all the shit they've pulled over the last couple years.
Oh, we're not going to release this. We're just going to shelve it and take the tax break on it. Oh, let's just go with these stupid bullshit supposed reality shows.
Well, now get this. Big new series that were originally slated for Max exclusively, like the new Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
Welcome to Derry, which is a prequel to It. And then now just announced Lanterns, which is their foray back into the DC universe, where they have the Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, and I'm still fuzzy on this. I know I'm getting older, but I'm still fuzzy. They are now saying that all of these big budget series will now debut on HBO first.
What?
But I thought HBO was part of Max.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
And I didn't think you can't buy HBO anymore separately, can you?
I didn't think you
I went
could.
to the website. Once I heard this, I went to the website for HBO. And all it has up there is sign up for Max. It doesn't have anything about sign up for HBO.
Unless they're going to run it on the HBO cable subscription thing?
Maybe that's it. But why would you have HBO through cable and not just have Max?
I have no idea. They're idiots.
This makes no. This is why I'm saying a bunch of retarded monkeys. Because this makes no sense. They're saying that, I think you're onto it. It will debut on the HBO cable service,
which nobody subscribes to anymore anyway.
And then maybe next day it'll be on Max.
Or 6 months down the line?
No, I don't think it'll be 6 months later. I don't think so.
A week later?
Now, with these idiots, who knows? And the thing that worries me, now I got rid of HBO Max because I hated it for all the reasons you mentioned. The one thing coming up that I did want to watch, and it's in limbo right now, they haven't made an announcement whether it's going to still be on just Max or HBO, is The Penguin.
Yeah.
With Colin Farrell. That's supposedly coming out in a couple months. They don't have a specific date yet. But I can't believe we're going to go back to the old school model where something would debut on HBO on the cable service and then 6 months later pop on Max. It's got to be next day. It's got to be next day, which still makes no sense.
No, it's brain damaged.
But I wonder what the future is for Paramount Plus and for Max.
They're scrambling.
Because they're still looking to sell Paramount.
Yeah.
And I heard the other day, they're in such desperate straits for money, they're looking to sell the famous Paramount lot.
Oh, geez.
In Hollywood.
How did they get so effed up?
That's why I'm saying you could see Paramount Plus go bye-bye. You could see Max go bye-bye.
Ugh.
And we predicted this. We said there's no way all these streaming services are going to survive.
No. Everybody's
People aren't stupid. People are going to quit
They're
2 or
going
3
to
of them
glom
when they get too
onto their
expensive.
2 favorites.
Yes.
Maybe 3.
Which is what I've got. My 3 right now. Yep. And I'm
Prime,
fine with that.
Netflix, and Peacock.
Yep. And I'd probably get rid of Peacock if they end up losing the WWE. Speaking of which.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, Kev.
Dave, we've got plans. We got plans coming up in a couple of years. We got plans. Big plans. Big plans.
Why is
Indiana Sports Corp landed a unbelievable first ever deal with the WWE.
really
Announced this week where they will have the 3 premier WWE events at Lucas Oil Stadium over the next few years. We
so
are getting
WrestleMania,
SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble is next February.
Whoa.
All 3 will be at Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, of course, the Royal Rumble is set. Tickets on sale soon. February, I believe, February 1st, 2025 is the Royal Rumble. But then they have a deal in place where down the road we will also get SummerSlam in Indy and the 2-night extravaganza known as WrestleMania. Come on, man. You know we have to go.
We have to go.
Come on. That would be the piece de resistance. To say we went to WrestleMania?
Yeah, we have to do that.
Now we're going to do all the nights because they're going to have, they're going to have SmackDown Friday night at Gamebridge. And then you're going to have Saturday night, night 1, Sunday night 2.
Good Lord.
That will be epic. That will be epic. First time ever the WWE is committed to a city for all 3 major events. And it ends up being in our backyard.
Why wouldn't it be Indy? Indy knows how to host events.
And that's one of the things they said when they made this announcement was Super Bowl, NCAA championship football, and basketball.
They know what they're doing.
Yep.
Everything is so close together. They can handle the influx of everybody coming in.
Yep.
Yep.
It is going to be fun. Now, I would imagine, just speculating, that the WrestleMania date, we're probably looking at 2026 or 2027.
Yeah, so it'll be spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works.
All right, trailers. How about some trailer news? Got some new trailers.
We like trailers.
TV trailers first. Let's do those. I mentioned Tulsa King. Have not watched it yet. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, season 2's going to hit on Paramount Plus on September the 15th. So the teaser for season 2 is out now. August the 1st on Amazon Prime. Now, maybe this is more for the boys, your sons.
Potentially.
I don't know how big you are into the animation stuff, but this is one that appeals to me because this is from the same team that gave us the original Batman, the animated series.
Oh, I may have to watch.
Coming August the 1st on Amazon Prime. Trailer is out as of today as we tape on June the 26th. Batman, Caped Crusader. And it looks good. It looks really good.
Who do they have voicing Batman now that the icon is no longer with us?
I don't know for sure. Part of me wants to say, God help me, John Krasinski, but I'm not 100% on that.
Hey, as long as we get Mark Hamill doing the Joker.
They did not show the Joker. I think they had Harley Quinn in there. So I think they were teasing the Joker. And you do get Two-Face. I didn't see the Riddler. Saw the Penguin. Saw Clayface. So definitely worth watching.
There we go.
Now, in terms of trailers for movies, Nosferatu. Yeah, you look like you might have had a little bit of a mini stroke there.
I think I threw up in my mouth at the same time.
Well,
if it's done right.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say, too. And the thing is, I watched this trailer a couple times, and I don't think it is. I think it's a little too artsy-fartsy and pretentious. Plus, it stars Johnny Depp's daughter. And then Willem Dafoe's in it. And usually, nowadays, if he's in something, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Not in a good way.
Who's supposed to play Nosferatu?
They tease. I don't know.
Skarsgård, because he's in everything else weird now.
Yeah, they don't show. That's the big teaser. They won't show you Nosferatu yet. Heretic looks interesting.
Heretic looks freaking fantastic.
With Hugh Grant.
Yes. That looks creepy and twisted.
Yeah. Where the house might be a maze.
Yeah.
With the two poor missionary girls.
Yes. Oh my God, that looks like it could really be good. Of course.
I don't understand the whole thing with the blueberry pie scented candle, though.
He said something about, I'll be right back with blueberry pie.
Yeah,
but then they see that candle sitting there, and I don't know.
Okay.
So there might be more to it in another trailer.
Yeah.
But again, it's another A24 production, and they seem to have a decent grasp on what they're doing.
Except for Civil War.
Yeah.
That piece of shit, I'll never watch it. I will never watch Civil War.
Yeah. But no, Heretic looks really damn good.
And then finally, Red One. Red One, a holiday action movie starring Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans as they have to rescue a kidnapped Santa Claus played by J.K. Simmons. And of course, along the way, they have to fight off snowmen, and they have to do a slap fight with Krampus.
Oh my God.
So it looks like it could go either way.
Yeah.
It looks like it could go either way. Very, very.
I will say, it has to be decent if J.K. Simmons is in it.
And he looks like he's going to be awesome as Santa Claus. I still don't understand what Dwayne Johnson's role in this is.
Because he's got to be in it. I think he's required to be in X number of movies a year.
But they say that Chris Evans is the greatest tracker in the world, and they have to bring him in to help, even though he's like level 4 on the naughty list, I think they say on the trailer. But I don't understand. The reindeer all love The Rock. That's a joke early on in the trailer. But who is he? What character is he? Who does he play? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he supposed
Is he back as the Tooth Fairy?
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know. Yeah, so
that's a stretch.
I would like to see more information about the character he is playing. All right. We're not letting you off that easy. Dave's not getting off this easy.
I need sleep.
Do you have any books?
No, because I'm working through Cleat at a slow pace to try and...
With me?
Yes.
So
I've been tempted to jump to something else.
Yes.
To in a couple weeks,
I would say 2 weeks. I'm going to make a bold prediction. 2 weeks, Dave and I will review Cleat, the latest from the great James Lee Burke.
We're
both a third of the way through it, so
I'm liking it. I'm
The
liking it a
different
lot.
perspective is very interesting.
It's very cool.
I don't know why I would ever doubt him.
This is what we've wanted for years
Mm-hmm.
as a book from Cleet's perspective.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. It's amazing to me how he can, as a writer, turn his brain in a different way. As where when he's speaking with Dave Robichaux's point of view, everything's much more poetic, and the detail is much more involved in terms of what Dave sees when he walks out the door in the morning.
Dave is a more complicated character.
Cleet says that, yeah.
And Cleet's just your basic.
Yeah.
He's come to terms with who he is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yep. And you get the change, the difference in the internal dialogue from all the other Dave Robichaux books versus this one, which focuses on Cleet.
Yeah. No, Burks so far has done a phenomenal job in changing the voice.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
That's why he is a grand master.
2-time Edgar Award winner, which is very rare.
Yeah.
So, any movies?
No movies.
All right. Yay! You get me. You get me. Twice. Times God. 2. Now, these are 2 movies that you would not have access to anyway. And one of them I would not wish on you for anything. But they're both on Hulu. So
you know what? Go ahead. Get this piece of crap out of the way first here on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
Otherwise, of course, known as iHeartRadio. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page for each and every link to this podcast or our sports podcast.
Yes, our Thursday in politically incorrect sports commentary. And on the Facebook page, you'll find all of our picks for all of our sports competitions with the Sports Frenzy panelists.
All right, so I'm going to start off with the bad stuff. And this was kind of disappointing, I have to admit. Now, I have been watching a lot of documentaries lately just because there haven't been a lot of good regular movies to watch. Still waiting on the Fall Guy. Peacock, when are you going to put the Fall Guy on?
Come on. Let's go.
So, of course, I watched the Bon Jovi 5-hour documentary. Then I decided to watch Brats.
Oh, the Brat Pack doc?
I watched the Brat Pack documentary thinking, just like with the Bon Jovi documentary, I would get a little bit more of an insight into the stresses and the trials and the tribulations of what all these... And I love all those movies. I love all those movies.
Yeah, and never had an issue with any of the actors.
Yeah, all the John Hughes movies, and then there were a couple other ones that kind of count. Rumblefish,
St. Elmo's Fire.
Right. So I was looking forward to a nice in-depth look at all these actors and actresses and what they went through, the good times, the bad times. No.
Another love fest?
No, it's not a love fest. Now, this is all done by Andrew McCarthy, one of the members of the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
And I guess he's already written a book that's out called Brats.
Yeah, so it was his biography.
Yeah, but now this is his movie. He produced it. He directed it. And basically all he does for an hour and a half, thank God it was only an hour and a half, is he tries to track down all of these actors and actresses that were in the Brat Pack with him in these movies. And obviously St. Elmo's Fire is the focal point movie that they spend most of their time talking about. But this is this movie, this is how I described. I did a review on this on IMDb. I had 10 minutes to kill. I figured, let me
Let me
ready
vent.
for the podcast. No, but this would help me get ready for the
Prep
podcast. I put in my review, I said, Brats basically makes all of these actors and actresses look like the 80s ancestors of the current snowflake generation. Because all they do is whine and cry about all the bad things that happened to them. And it's all me, still to this day, egocentric. And now the fascinating thing, as far as it goes, is each and every one that's in the movie. And that's the other thing that pisses me off. It's not even complete in terms of who he got to talk to. He didn't get an interview with Molly Ringwald. He didn't get an interview with Judd Nelson, two of the most important members of the Brat Pack.
Did he get Anthony Michael Hall?
Oh, hell, didn't even talk about Anthony Michael Hall at all. He got John Cryer. Ducky. He got Ducky. No, he talks to Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Ali Sheedy, Demi Moore, Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting one or two others. But the way they come off as individuals is very intriguing. But we're not getting any scandalous or interesting stories. There's one good story in the entire movie. And the rest of it is like a group therapy session because it focuses on the damage that was done to their careers by the first writer who christened them the Brat Pack. And they basically,
How did it ruin their careers?
That's the whole thing. Andrew McCarthy goes to all the ones he could get on camera, asking them, "Did you feel that label really damaged our careers or hurt us? How did it affect you? Did it hurt you?" And then
it pushed them all the way up to the charts. They kept him in.
The big climax, the big coup de grace at the end is Andrew McCarthy confronts the writer. Who was the first one to call them the Brat Pack, asking him, "Do you realize what damage you could have done to our careers by calling us that and giving us that label?"
How many freaking magazine covers did they get?
But they're saying
how many movies did they get after that?
Yeah, and so a few other things about Brats. Now, I'm not going to discuss John Cryer and Leah Thompson. I don't care. But the four main interviews, Rob Lowe and Ali Sheedy come off as the only two sane, normal, grounded people. Okay?
I can see that.
Yep. And Rob Lowe is the only one that gives a halfway decent story. And this was what I was waiting for. I get one freaking anecdote that I enjoyed throughout the whole movie.
Just one?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
It's all about the tortured Brat Pack and what they had to endure. Rob Lowe talks about the night the Brat Pack met the Rat Pack. When he and Andrew McCarthy went to Sammy Davis Jr.'s house. That was fun to hear about for a couple minutes.
That would have been cool to hear.
But that's it.
That's all you got.
That's the highlight of the whole documentary.
Oh my God. That's
so
sad.
Yeah, Rob Lowe comes off, and of course he's probably the most successful of all of them, given he's still on TV all the time.
Yeah.
And Ali Sheedy comes off as like she's content, she's happy with where she is.
Yeah, she's had a couple of things.
But then Emilio Estevez comes off as very standoffish. Like he doesn't act like he really wants to be talking about this. And he seems very tense and very defensive about everything. And you don't get anything out of him.
Well, you could almost argue he's been the most successful. Because right now he's producing, directing, writing.
Well, I was thinking more in front of the camera.
But in front of the camera,
right.
Yeah.
And then Demi Moore just, oh my God. Wow. she comes off as the typical Hollywood nut job celebrity. As she and Andrew McCarthy loving each other in terms of talking about all of these psychiatrists. She loves to use the word againstness. And I'm like, I had to look that up. Is that really a word? And it is, but who in the history of mankind do you know, or have I known, who's used the word againstness? And she sounds like she just came out of a therapy session with her shrink.
She probably did.
And she's probably bouncing the language he used or she used off of Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've gone on too long with this, but this is...
Stay away! Andrew McCarthy's probably the least successful of the entire group.
Stay away from this, kids. Stay away from this. I don't care. I saw... Again, when I wrote my review on IMDb, all these people praising this and loving this. If you didn't like the movies from that era, you won't get this. I'm like, bullshit. Don't talk down to me. I loved all those movies, and it was a terrible, awful waste of time. One frenzy.
There you go.
One of the worst movies of the year. One last quick review, and I will move on to Moments of Silence. I watched The First Omen, also on Hulu. Of course, the prequel to the Omen movies. Now, I have not watched any of the Omen movies in a long time.
It's been a long damn time.
So, I understood most of what was going on, but the ending,
Damien,
confuses me because they leave some things open that I'm not sure how they connect into the chronology of the original movies. Yes, we all know about Damien. We get that part's fine. But there are some other things that, and I don't want to spoil, I'm not spoiling here, but there are some other things that are open-ended at the end of The First Omen that I'm wondering, again, since I have not watched these Omen movies, I could not believe there were 4 Omen movies. I had to look that up too. 4 Omen movies. Now, I will say this about The First Omen. As a prequel showing us how Damien came to be, it's not bad. Especially compared to that crap The Exorcist movie that we watched recently. Kind of the same thing, in terms of trying to resuscitate an old classic horror series. This was much better. Now, I'm not saying it's fantastic.
It wouldn't have taken much, but...
Yeah. The actress who stars in it, I am troubled by her in a good way.
Is she haunting your dreams?
She's fascinating. And I'm not saying she's a great actress. She's very beautiful. She's got a ridiculous name. Her name is Nell Tiger Free. So obviously parents were hippies.
Obviously.
But you can't take your eyes off of her, which is a good thing. She's just, and they do a really good job. The director does a really good job of focusing on her face and her facial expressions and her eyes. And so maybe the director did a really good job of pushing that.
So the director did his job well.
There you go. So I will give The First Omen 2.5 frenzies. I will give it a borderline recommendation. I enjoyed it. It was not a chore to get through. It was 2 hours. Got through it relatively quickly for me.
All right.
Because if it's a bad movie, I usually take 3 or 4 breaks.
Yeah. So stretch it out over a week.
Yeah, this one I only took 1 break, I think, throughout the whole movie. But again, this goes back to the early 70s and the conspiracy behind Damien and how Damien came to be.
All right.
So there you go, kids. So I had to give you a positive to go
along on a good note.
Go along with the absolute negative of Brats. and the old snowflakes in that. But all right, moments of silence. Got a lot of them this week. A lot of significant ones.
Unfortunately. Should we start with the major? Donald Sutherland. God, he had been in so many movies. MASH, the original Hawkeye. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I know. I've got two that pop into my head with him.
Animal House of the little cameo.
Yep. But yeah, I always think of Invasion of the Body Snatchers because that is so underrated. The second.
Yeah.
And then I've told the story. You will get it. Most people won't. But I remember going to the old Boiler House Flicks and seeing Spies with him and Elliot Gould.
Yep. Trying to recapture the magic from MASH.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, so many other movies. What, the Hunger Games he was in, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Even though I've really never watched those.
But also playing in one of our favorite war movies, Kelly's Heroes.
Yes.
Bill and I used to always quote him, "Enough with the negative waves, Moriarty."
Yep. And the thing that's really sad, never won an Oscar.
Yeah, I know. As many things as he's been in, as great an actor as he was,
nope,
never got the award.
Nope. Ordinary People.
Yeah.
You would think with all the awards that movie won, he would have gotten one. He didn't. Now, this one personally for me hurts. Because one of my greatest memories of my college years wraps around this man and the show he was in. Spencer Milligan. Dave's like, who the fuck is Spencer Milligan? Spencer Milligan played the father on Land of the Lost.
Yes. Marshall.
One of the greatest Saturday morning shows of all time.
Yep, Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition.
Yep, with the cheesy special effects with the dinosaurs.
The sleaze stack.
And the great thing
their adopted Neanderthal Chaka.
Yep. The scary thing was, I saw that pop today as we tape here on June the 26th. Then I went on to Amazon to watch a little bit of Outer Range. First thing that comes up recommended for you, Land of the Lost. Like, technology is spooky.
Yes,
it's spooky.
Yes, it is. Loved Land of the Lost.
Cheesy greatness.
Yep.
Yeah, and the slee stacks. I forgot all about the slee stacks.
And then the pyramid where you go in and mess with the crystals and you get the weather changes and everything else.
Yep. I believe it was only on for 2 seasons, which is a shame, but
yeah. But
all right,
Sid and Marty Krofft, wasn't it?
Yes, Sid and Marty Krofft. Absolutely, good call. This is a really sad story from Hawaii. Tameo Perry died in a shark attack. Tameo Perry was one of those locals who was a world-renowned surfer and also a local lifeguard. But whenever they filmed a show in Hawaii or around Hawaii, he would show up in a minor role or as an extra. He was in Hawaii Five-0. He was in the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Killed in a shark attack.
Yep. While he was out on his board catching a wave.
Yep.
They could not get him in time to stop the bleeding.
Yep. Awful. Then finally, going back to the world of wrestling, sad news. I'm not going to pronounce his full name. The abbreviated version is Sika Anoa'i, one of the Hall of Fame tag teams of the Wild Samoans, and also the father of Roman Reigns.
Wow.
So I don't know what that means for the future of Roman Reigns in terms of when he comes back, how long it'll be, if maybe that's why he wanted a break to give up the title to Cody Rhodes. I still think that was going to happen either way.
Yeah,
But maybe that's why, as we were complaining about,
why he wasn't wrestling as often as he should have been.
That would
Maybe
be-
he was taking care of his dad.
Yep, that could be a very legitimate, understandable explanation. So thoughts and prayers to that entire clan.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't understand that family, that Samoan family. I mean, The Rock is part of that family.
Yeah.
He's a relative. So, big loss in the world of wrestling. But you know what that means, Dave. What time is it?
It's time to pivot. Pivot.
We have 4 potential pop culture dumbasses to choose from this week. Let us get into it, shall we?
Yes, let's find out who will be this
And I
week's
think I have 4 good ones. 4 good ones to choose from.
All right.
All
Make
kind
it
of
difficult.
all on the same level.
Make it difficult.
Now, for the second week in a row, I'm not trying to pick on him, but he's making it too easy for me, and that would be one Justin Timberlake. Now, of course, last week we put him in as a potential dumbass because of his DWI arrest in New York. But now, as with any and all celebrities, it seems like,
The entitlement factor comes out.
he can't keep his mouth shut. Just do your tour. He just started his tour.
This isn't going to be good. Good for what? The world tour. The meme that he has become.
Well, he's got to get out there now for the first show, and I've had a rough week, kids, and I really thank you, for sticking by me and
Blah.
showing me the love.
No, we shelled out hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Of course we're going to be here, dumbass.
So then the next show was in Chicago. And he had to go through more of the same, blah, 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 blah. Oh, thank you so much for loving me and being there for me. Of course, nobody mentions and almost killing somebody if I had actually drunkenly hit a pedestrian or another car. But nobody talks about that. But he had to pull out the quote of the year. The dumbass quote of the year. As he's talking to the fans in Chicago about the DWI. And he's I'm paraphrasing most of this, but I'll give you the direct quote. Paraphrasing, yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me and being there and loving me. Then the quote was, just keep riding with me.
Oh, you idiot.
You realize you just got arrested for a DWI.
And you say,
tell your
just
fans,
keep riding with me.
I'll pass on that, Mr. Timberlake. I prefer not to end up a street pizza. Thank you very much.
Ay, caramba.
Let's go from pizza to donuts. How about that?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go, Homer.
Oh. Now, of course, you just a couple minutes ago mentioned a quote from Friends when you were talking about how we pivot, right?
Right.
So, Friends, would you or would you not say that Friends is an iconic American show?
Yes, I would.
It's set in New York, right?
Right.
I would say yes, it's an iconic American show. And I like Krispy Kreme donuts, don't you?
Used to.
Uh-oh, what'd they do to you?
They stopped giving the free donut when the light was on.
I forgot. Yeah, you're bitter about that.
I mean, that was the only time we'd go in. But when we went in for the free donut, we also would buy a dozen donuts while we were there. That's what drew us in to purchase.
There's no incentive now.
There's no incentive to go in now.
Well, I've told you, a lot of these entertainment companies are shutting down their rewards programs, and I think they're making a huge mistake, because now why would I buy one of your movies, because I can't get points for it towards a free movie.
So why?
Same thing with the donuts, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Krispy Kreme. Now, recently they had exclusive Dolly Parton donuts. David, I don't know how you can think about a donut like a big boob, but I know you're doing it in that mind of yours. I know you're trying to figure out a way, some custard filled, somehow in that wicked brain of yours. But now, the next specialized donut or line of donuts that they're going to make at Krispy Kreme is for friends. So,
is it a coffee flavored called the Central Perk?
One of them has like not icing, but you know how they can put those candy things on there that says Central Perk on it? Stuff like that. One's got the picture frame, stuff like that. But here's the problem.
Are we going to get the alabaster dog?
Only you would come up with that. Of all the iconic moments in Friends, you come up with the alabaster dog. But now, did we not just discuss this is an iconic American show?
Yes.
Krispy Kreme will have the Friends donut line only available in the UK. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
About as much sense as anything else.
All right, let's talk about Prime Video. We've already talked about Paramount Plus. We talked about Max. Let's talk about Prime Video and them being a little too woke and a little too PC. Now, I guess recently they got the rights to Stanley Kubrick's classic war movie, Full Metal Jacket. Now, do you remember the poster, the iconic poster for Full Metal Jacket with Matthew Modine's helmet?
Yeah.
It has what? The peace sign on it and what? Etched on the side, it says what?
I don't recall.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Oh, wait, that's too early. Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute. No, it has the peace sign and it has Born to Kill written on the side of the helmet. On the again, iconic movie poster. So Prime Video got a hold of the rights for Full Metal Jacket, and they put it up there. And in the description, of course, you get everything. And then they've got the movie poster above the description, and they took out Born to Kill. So it's just the helmet with the peace sign on it. And fans went crazy and said, what dare you?
What are you doing?
How dare you do that to that timeless piece of movie art?
Yeah. So no excuse for it.
I guess enough people did protest to the point where they did restore Born to Kill. But just the fact that they thought they could get by with it.
Oh, I hate that shit.
Yep.
Leave things alone. We don't need censorship.
No, again, this is the world we live in. Free speech now is selective.
Only if you agree with me.
Yeah. And of course, I let slip the fourth and final one by saying you're killing me, Smalls. I didn't want to do that, but so yes, my fourth and final dumbass contestant refers back to The Sandlot. Thomas Geary, who played Scotty Smalls in The Sandlot, again, the namesake in the great
line.
You're Killing Me Smalls. Thomas Geary was arrested for smashing his neighbor's windshield.
With a baseball bat?
No, not with a baseball bat. That would have been better.
Oh.
But yeah, so hence there go an Air 4. You're killing me, Smalls, and you're going to jail.
Oh, goodness.
So, who do we have, Dave? Who are we going with? Krispy Kreme, Prime Video, Scotty Smalls, or Justin Timberlake?
Krispy Kreme.
Okay, I'm going a different way this week. So this is a tough one for me between Timberlake and Prime Video, but I think I've got to go with Prime Video. I'm with you. I can't stand censorship. And that we can't handle the helmet saying "Born to Kill" on it.
Shut up.
Even, by the way, even Matthew Modine came out
and said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, and said, "You don't understand. That was the dichotomy of the character."
Yeah.
Joker in the second half of Full Metal Jacket, his commanding officer asked him about the helmet, and he says it's the dichotomy of life, peace, and then war and death. And so to take part of it all together,
helmet, you lose the whole meaning of the movie.
And that's what Modine said when it was brought to his attention. He actually got out there and said, "This is wrong. That's not what the poster art means. You have to have both sides."
Yes, that's
the love and the hate. But again, the woke snowflakes tried to slip one past the goalie.
And they failed.
Yep. So Dave and I go Krispy Kreme for him and Prime Video for me as our dumbasses of the week. Next week, thank God, that 90s show is back.
Woohoo!
I say it's season 2, part 1. They're saying this is part 2. And then part 3 will be what we get later on in the year. But anyway, we're getting new episodes, so that's all that matters. Dave and I will talk about
Red's back. That's all we care about.
Yep. With a trip of your foot up your ass. His foot up your ass. Somebody's foot up your ass.
Somebody's foot's going up somebody's ass.
So we got that. Of course, we talked about The Boys. Episode 5 of season 4 next week. I'll have more Outer Range and Nickelback. Love to Hate. And then we're talking about a movie from a few years back called Upgrade, possibly.
Yes.
Reviewing that for you next week. We'll figure it all out, kids.
We always do.
And again, just a few weeks away from concert season kicking in. Cannot wait. And then, of course, catch us again in late September when we're dog tired.
It's like, oh my God.
We got another concert again this weekend.
Another one?
We rarely ever say that. He's the Conquistador, Dave Hite.
He's the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
Thank you, as always, for checking in with us.
Say goodnight to the kids, Kev.
God damn it, that's not how it works, Dave. Say goodnight to the kids, Kev.